for short periods of time, but they're willing to share. And so they may be able to help and work with a peer. Maybe the peer's learning the letters, and they would sing it too to help that other one learn.
Well, thanks so much for all of the information you've given us thus far, but we have to take a break.
Okay.
And then we will continue with our discussion on early childhood education.
All right.
Stay tuned. We will be right back.
I need a favor. I don't have a lock for my bike, and I'm just wondering if maybe you could run into the store and grab me some tampons.
Tampons?
Are you kidding me?
Well, how about you just go in there and I'll just watch your bike?
I don't know the first thing about buying that stuff.
What stuff?
What you have to get?
You can't say tampons?
I just won't do it,
Even if I was your mother.
even if he was my mother.
Can I buy toilet paper? Will that work?
No!
Ubec Kotex, a new line of tampons, pads, and liners.
Are you looking for that prescription that the doctor just gave to you and you can't find it at no other pharmacy? Well, the Orange Grove Pharmacy is where you should be. The Orange Grove Pharmacy, we carry a wide range of American and European prescriptions and drugstore items. We also do personal care products. We offer friendly services and 24 hours emergency delivery. Charges may apply. We're open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., Saturdays, 9 to 1 p.m. Orange Grove Pharmacy, supporting a healthy lifestyle.
Hi, and welcome back to A Better Place. Miss Allen, we actually started talking about educators and how they can also play a very important role in recognizing that children come into their classrooms with different levels and different advancements.
Correct, yeah.
Could you continue to elaborate a bit on that?
Surely. As I was saying, when you start at school year, children come in with different backgrounds. We spoke earlier on about the work that you have done with your children. And some parents are able to do that, and not all parents are. So when a child comes into the classroom, they come in on very different levels. They've had, their playing field is very different to the others in the class. And so it's important for the teachers to recognize what the child is bringing to the classroom. When the teachers set up the classroom, then set it up in such a way that it can incorporate all of your learners, those who are just learning about a new environment, those who are just been exposed to literature, those who are just been exposed to pictures and are now starting to picture read, but those who already have that. So it's important that your learning environment takes that into account. And so when the parents bring their child now, if they have not been able to make that input in the child's life, the teacher can say, okay, well, we're working on this particular topic, or we're looking at these particular things about a child's life. Maybe we're doing community helpers. If it's possible, you could take the child to the library or to the fire station or to the hospital, just to show them that way, the parent is involved. And when the child comes back now, they've got so much to tell, so much of what mommy or daddy has done, what grandmother's done, and so they can be a part of. So their learning is not hindered. And those who already have that, they can also contribute as well to the actual learning that takes place. So that's one of the ways. Mm-hmm.
And what about, like I was explaining you earlier, that I'm very keen with language. So that was my main focus, and still is a bit with both of my kids.
Right.
But how do you encourage parents to actually incorporate both in helping their children to become versed with both math and language?
Okay. Staying with early childhood, and when we speak of early childhood, I'm really speaking of, say, the 3-year-old.
Yes.
So I've kind of stuck there this evening. And I'm looking at the different things that we do at home. If there's a sibling, or if it's just mom and dad, or just one parent and the child, we have one bowl for you and one for me. So already we're looking at numbers. We have 1 spoon for you and 1 spoon for me. How many spoons do we have? We have 2 spoons. So even just the idea of numbers, and I mean, to say there's 1 for you and 1 for me, you're actually teaching the child to recognize quantity as opposed to just the number 1 or just the number 2. I actually know when you say the number 2, I can say, well, that's 1 and that's 2. So the child understands the concept. That's things that you could do those things at home when we're looking at, how many shoes do we have in the cupboard, or how many red dresses, or how many blue pants do you have? So we can begin to do those things at home. And the child will just see it as just an activity that they're doing with mom, not knowing that they're learning. They're having fun learning. you could look at the how many times we have to go around to clean the window, how many times I sweep, and we spoke about singing.
Right.
We can sing so many songs, and the child is learning and enjoying and having fun in what they're doing. So that way you involve the counting, the mathematics. If you're going to the shop and, okay, I have, this is the money that mommy has, and this is what I want to get, but this is 5 and mommy has 4. Do we have enough? And so, you know, you could just look at, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have 1 left over. So I think I've moved a bit past the 3-year-old, but those are some of the things that, you know, you can actually do with the child, and we're not in school as yet. So, you know, there's so much that we can do from our environment to help the children learn.
And of course, so we've been talking a bit about, you know, encouraging the 3-year-olds. Now, let's move a little bit to the 4-year-olds.
Okay.
What exactly, in your estimation, should a 4-year-old be able to do?
Okay. When we think of a 4-year-old, I'm going to stay with language for the moment. They're very interested in their name, so that the letters in their names, and they might be just stuck on the first letter. So like your name is Angelique, so you might be stuck on just the A. So what we'll be seeing whenever we write your name, we're going to see the attempt to write the letter A. And even though you may be shown how to do the whole thing, for you, the A, you're just stuck. When we look in your books, we're just going to see lots of A's because that's where you are. And so it's going to take us a little while to move on. Again, depends on the child, depends on the environment that they're coming from, the help that they get, and the teacher.
But what if in the classroom, in the preschool, so the 3-year-old, they have already been taught to do that. They've already been taught to write their names, especially their initial name, and then they move on to their surname, you know. Is that a requirement? Because I know, for example, at the school that my son attended or attends, he actually was writing his name, you know, by the time he finished preschool, you know, and he recognizes it. And of course, he knew all of his letters already, so that was easy.
Right. And I'm not quite sure if we mentioned it, but there's so much that a child can actually learn at a very young age. And I know that sometimes we limit them because we think of their age. Sometimes we limit them because we look at the curriculum. Sometimes we limit them because we look at what other children are doing. But it's always important to remember that if the child does not utilize those learning opportunities, those things in the brain can actually shut down. So you would find in some schools, we may just be learning the pre-writing skills, just how to form the shapes. If I'm teaching you to learn, I may just be doing this in preschool. And then by the time I do get to K1, the first level of kindergarten, I may be writing my first name. As you said, some children may be doing more. It really depends. But if you give the child the opportunity, if you give them, you know, the chance to do that, they will. They will do it.
Thanks again. We need to go to a break. This topic is so interesting that we keep going over the time. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
Man, I'm supposed to take my girl out to dinner this weekend. I'm so broke, man.
Man, I used to have those same problems, you know. But since I got my WIP Compaleon card, when I take my lady out, I even get something back, you know.
Get something back? Well, you're a lucky fella.
I take your mind out the gutter, man. What I mean is, with WIP Compaleon, I get back 1% on every purchase I make. With this card, I can spend in guilders and use it throughout the Netherlands and TDs. Instead of paying 1% of the dollar credit card, now I get 1% back on every purchase I make at the end of the year.
What? I gotta get myself a Compaleon card.
Man, but let's go.
Let me go. Man, now my lady's birthday gonna be a real celebration.
At least now with WIP Compaleon, I know you're gonna get something back.
The WIP Compaleon credit card with limits as low as 500 guilders. You don't have to walk with cash, and it is accepted by practically all businesses. The WIP Compaleon is the first guilder credit card that can be afforded by anyone.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, Saba, and Statia, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Welcome back to A Better Place. Miss Allen, so we've gotten so much information from you, and we still have a part 2 to the program.
That's
where we
right.
will go more in depth about learning styles. But just for us to wrap up this first part of this program, is there anything you would like to elaborate on concerning early childhood education?
Yes, there is, Angelique. I think what I would like to say is that children are individuals. And as much as we may have a classroom full of children, or you may have a home of varied siblings of different ages, they're all unique individuals. They come with their own personalities, their own characters. And I think it's important to remember that. It's important to remember it at home so that you're always comparing and say, well, your sister did this and your sister did that. You know, why can't you do the same thing? So that's important because they're individuals. When you go into the classroom, it's important to recognize that whilst John may be able to, reach the milestones at what seem to be average times, it's not necessary that Mary will meet the same milestones at those same times. And when you do notice that, try and find out what is going on with Mary. Is there something I need to be looking at? Is it a social issue? Is it a psychological issue? What is going on with this child? Maybe there was something traumatic at home that has sort of blocked her from where she is. So just to remember that children are unique, they're different. Even if you have a classroom of them, you have a house full of them, they're unique individuals and characters. That's what I'd like to say.
Thank you so much, Miss Allen, for having been a part of A Better Place, for actually joining this family, because I consider A Better Place to be a family.
Wonderful.
A family that tends to want to educate the viewing audience on various topics pertaining to family life, education, parenting, etc.
Right,
because there's so much out there for parents and persons on a whole to know about, the different stages that you go through from the time you want to conceive and when you do conceive. Parenting and family life just is an ongoing, issue.
Cycle. Yes.
So I'm glad that you were here to
My
share
pleasure.
a little bit about early childhood education with us. And like I said again, we will continue with our part 2 on early childhood education as well as different learning styles.
Okay, thank you.
To you, the viewing audience, I would like to thank you for having been a part of our first program of Season 3 of A Better Place. Continue to watch. I'm Angelique Martis Ramu, your host.